And there we are. What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to the live stream that nobody knew I was doing, including me, until now, apparently, which is great. But it's all right because we're celebrating Slanja. Huh? Mm. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Um, we are absolutely celebrating the. Uh, this is the release party for the Kindle version of Beneath the Haunted Sky, The Evidence for UFO Abduction. The book I just finished. And as you can see, I had time to actually, groom myself, you know, put on some clothes that are decent instead of just wandering around in my pajamas like a crazy man. Sorry, my camera keeps going out of focus there. How's that? All right. But I'm glad to see you. And I wanted to raise a glass and say, we did it, guys. We did it. You can go and click the link in the description of this video, and you can go pre-order the Kindle version of this book. Apparently, it's like 266 pages of me just ripping the face off of science and exposing what's really going on in the world of UFO visitations, of extraterrestrials' existence, of UFO abductions. Um, and not only the science, but I share my own personal stories, my own experiences, the things that I have been able to accumulate as far as evidence over the years. And I just want to say I'm so happy to be at this point. Uh, I didn't know if I would ever get this done. I didn't even know that I was going to do it, honestly, until one day I just got kind of fed up with listening to all these people talk about the subject. And I just decided to say, you know what? How about I just say, what it really is? How about I just tell the truth that I've been holding back for so many years, and that I know that there are a decent contingent of folks who would prefer me not to say these things, which is a shame. But it kind of makes me want to do it even more. So um, we have the release date for uh, Beneath the Haunted Sky is December 1st. That's when the book, the Kindle and the paperback, will be available. But you can go right now. If you click the link in the description of this video, it'll take you right to where my book is, and you can pre-order it right now. And you can have it on standby, ready to go. And as soon as it is available on December 1st, you will be the first one to receive it and read it. And I hope that you do, because it's maybe the most important book I've ever written, and maybe that I'll ever write. It's very personal to me, this book, because it talks about my experiences, my trauma, what it's like to be a trauma survivor of something so outside the realm of everyone else's reality. Yeah. But it's also a book about being victorious, about overcoming trauma, about overcoming the pseudo-scientific skeptics and the naysayers of this book is full of evidence that will put them in their place. This is not just a book. It is a weapon. It is a thought weapon that you can access and that you can use to anyone who wants to cast aspersions on maybe what you're going through. What are you? Maybe you're an abductee. It also talks about how to know if you are. Like, there's a lot of things in there that I didn't realize until later that I wish someone had told me, and I'd say, oh, yeah, that is happening to me. Slanja. I celebrated last night too. Maybe a tad more than I should have. But I was I was very happy with the fact that I completed this extremely difficult project. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the stuff that I talk about in the book. I want to give you some goodies, maybe a couple of things that I talk about. Um, for instance, that there are blind spots. We look to science as being the the bastion of reality, when the truth is it's fairly far from that. When we truly analyze it and we put science under the microscope, so to speak, it's often found lacking. And as are the scientists who are the proponents of many of these theories that I have found to be much less than helpful in my time on this planet. Um, we have a selective application of knowledge. Yeah, that we we don't understand that. Okay, we say something's impossible. We see these craft in the sky doing something that is impossible. Well, we should change what we believe to be possible. See, to behave in any other way is insanity. To say, oh, well, that these things defy the laws of physics. No, no, they expose your laws as being wrong. They expose them as flawed. And instead of changing the laws, yeah, to suit reality, we try to change reality to suit the laws. This is the definition of insanity. This is delusion on the highest order. And we cannot tolerate this as a society, as a species. We cannot do that. We cannot allow scientists to dictate reality. We have reality, which dictates science. It can be no other way. And the fact that we have done this for so long, you understand that we've been doing this for a long time, and we've gone down the road quite a ways in the wrong direction in many ways. Um, I spend the first, what, I want to say 60 pages in the book, um, doing nothing but just correcting science, just calling out scientists, calling out these wrong theories and explaining why they're wrong. This isn't difficult stuff to sit and just go, no, because of this, no, because of this. And scientists will sit there and try to defend these theories with this selective application of reason. They'll be like, well, the Earth's motion, this and that. Well, how many types of motion does the Earth have? Anybody know? Anybody thought about that? Because I have quite a bit. And what I know and what I explain in the book is that the Earth itself has 7 different types of celestial motion. 6 are easily recognizable. And the 7th one, you go, oh, yeah, I guess that is right. But there are 6 and 7 different types of celestial motion which occur with this planet, just this planet. And we can't understand that we can't see that. So we want to just apply 1 or 2. You see, and we say those 1 or 2 are sufficient to explain everything without taking the other 5 into consideration. How does that make sense? It doesn't, right? We say, oh, we have these scientists who are, conducting experiments and trying to tell me about magnetism. And they're conducting magnetic experiments while standing on a giant spherical magnet, which is revolving around another spherical magnet, which is being revolved around by other spherical magnets. But you understand magnetism. I imagine whenever I hear scientists talking about what magnetism is and how to define it, I often think of, I imagine in my head, a fish underwater wearing a little white lab coat, with a test tube of water, testing water while it's underwater in the ocean, breathing water. You see what I mean? Like, we are awash in it. And so it's very hard to separate yourself from the phenomenon to study it when you are ensconced in it, when you are inundated with it, right? And so this is why I say that, honestly, people like, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is one of the biggest loudmouth skeptics when it comes to UFOs and UFO abductions, that this is a guy who couldn't discover chicken if you locked him in a KFC. Like, this is not the person you should be listening to when it comes to UAP and UFO phenomenon, when it comes to extraterrestrials and abductions and mutilations and all of the um, different phenomenon associated with it. He is the last person on the face of the earth that you should be taking their word for anything, because what would he know about it? He's as far removed from the subject as someone, as some tribal person in the wilds of Papua New Guinea. Like, they probably both know about an equal amount about the UAP phenomenon. He doesn't look at the evidence. He doesn't study the evidence, and even more, he doesn't even try to look at it with a critical bent of using evidence for the assertion. He simply says, "Well, let's not say this or let's not say that. Let's say what's true. Let's say what's true." And what's true is that people like me, people like you, are seeing these things. We're capturing them on film. We're videotaping them. We're taking pictures of them. We're being taken by them. We're having things done to us, and we're being returned. And nobody wants to believe you. And believe me, I know what that's about. I was married to someone for quite a while who didn't want to believe me until, well, I tell you in the book how I got that person to once and for all stop questioning my sanity or my honesty once and for all. It's a great story. It's really true. And so I share a lot of the personal things, like how I was feeling at the time and what was going on in my life. And I share those things because it's important that you are in that place with me when I'm explaining what I'm experiencing, that you know where my mind was at the time. Because it's important to know I'm human. I'm a human being, and I have I have feelings and I have thoughts and I have uh, you know I'm complicated, you know, but also I'm honest about it though, and I'll tell you, like, this is what was going on in my life, and this is how I was feeling, and this is what had gone on, and this is what motivated me to do this or that, you know. And I think that's important, that it's not just this happened then this, like, the expository part of it, which is fine, which you need, um, but also there's a context around it, that you see how this affects people. It affects real people in real ways. And to see this phenomenon treated so shabbily, to see the people who are affected by it being treated as less than, as delusional, as liars, as attention seekers. Um, it's a sad thing. And it also is an angering, it makes me angry. It makes me angry that people don't want to believe you or listen to you or give you the credit of being a sane person who just happens to be telling the truth about something that they've never experienced. If you're telling me something outside of my own experience, I want to pay attention to that personally. I don't want to um, say no. If you say you saw Bigfoot, then let's talk about that. Like, what makes you think that, or how do you know? Things like that. I think that's important. We don't just discount people because what they say sounds peculiar because it's outside of our range of experience. That's a very arrogant place to be. Yeah. And honestly, I don't care whether there's anybody here with me or not. I'm going to sit here and celebrate and party all alone if I have to, because I know I didn't give you guys any warning. I just show up and do these things, and I like to surprise you. You know, I like to surprise you, and it's a nice Saturday afternoon here. It's a little chilly out, and my heat is out for some reason, but it's okay because I brought plenty of antifreeze with me. Um, but I'm glad for whoever's here. If you pop in, say hello. Make sure you follow the link below. That's what this is all about. I'm doing this live stream because I want to bring attention to the fact that my book, Beneath the Haunted Sky, Evidence for Alien Abduction, is now available for pre-order. And I will sit here and drink all night if I have to get attention to this topic. In all seriousness, though, click the link, follow it, click the button, and pre-order that book. And let's give this thing a rousing start. On December 1st, it's going to arrive at your email's doorstep, hot and fresh and ready to go. And you can be the first ones to read the book and see the evidence for yourself. And that's really what this book is about. Not just me personally telling you about my experiences, but also the evidence that I have which backs it up, which is far better than just a couple of my shitty drawings. I have tons. The book is, I spoil you with the amount of excellent quality UFO and UAP photographs that I have taken and amassed over the period of the last 20 years or so. And I did that for me. Basically, I did it for myself. I was constantly on the hunt for something that could prove what I was seeing. You see, that's one of the problems with having a high level of perception is often you look to be the crazy one because you see something first. You appear to be delusional. You appear to be making things up sometimes, perhaps. But when you perceive things and then you can produce evidence for them, well, now those things take on a new meaning, don't they? Now that early warning system is really a warning system. It's not just fantasy that I could say, I know what that is. I've seen it before. And I can produce evidence for that. I think scientists are going to have a real hard time with this book. They're going to have a real hard time. I make some links in there that are undeniably scientifically valid and are inarguable from any logical standpoint. And I'm really looking forward to what some of these mainstream talking heads are going to have to say about what little old me has had hidden in the vault for the last 20 years. But we're having a party today. We'll leave the arguing to another day, but there will be some arguments. I'm looking through. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that are talked about in the book. Science stuff, you know. Yeah, there's a ton of pictures here. Just a ton of really good quality pictures of anomalous craft that you can clearly see. I talk about what the Gray's agenda is in the book. It's one of the longer sections because it requires the most explanation. But we have this issue, and it is a psychological, social issue I suppose, where we must come to terms with the fact that whatever these species are, and there's more than one that visit this planet on a regular basis. Whether I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what is going on with the stupid camera here. Now I set it on the extra sexy setting, and it's not working. Look at me. Let's see what we can do there. That. I think if I just kind of stay still, but I don't. I move around everywhere. um, but we have this problem, and the problem is technological superiority. Why is the United States the greatest military in the world? Is it because we have the best and the brightest? Well, some would argue, but I believe that it has to do with our technology, our considerable technological advantage over other humans on this earth. Yeah, uh, we can uh, we can hit your ass with a missile while you're sitting in a parking lot at a McDonald's in another country. Like we can get you, we can drone you, we can satellite, we can fry you with X-rays and Y-rays. You know, satellites, the dentist. Like we can get you however we want to get you. You know, technological superiority, and therefore, um, we are the ones who are looked at as the leaders in that regard. Now, imagine that we have a species that isn't just 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, 100 years ahead, 1,000 years ahead. You know, they're, they're millions of years ahead of us in technological superiority in every single way that matters. Well, you know, what do you do about that? The bigger question is, what can you do about that? And generally, the answer is nothing. Yeah. Hmm. That's one of the reasons I drink. Is because there's nothing we can do about it. Mm. At least it would seem that way, doesn't it? But what we can do is we can spend our time learning instead of denying. Hmm? We spend our time doing what I've done for the past 20 years, which is culling information every way possible. I have I have physical artifacts that I've been given that I've kept. I've had personal experiences, face-to-face experiences with these beings that I have observed carefully, that I have observed their craft. I have taken very good close photographs of them. I have investigated every aspect of this phenomenon from my own personal experiences to that of others, and have been able to formulate a an agenda which I have been made aware of by these creatures, um, who consider me a guardian breed of human. Apparently, my genetics are desirable to make guardians, the ones who guard them. These are their bodyguards. Mm. And we're the bouncers at the club. We're the bouncers at Club Galactic. And if we say you ain't getting in the club, bro, you're not going to get in. And it doesn't matter what species you are. If we don't want you in the club, you're not coming in. So they have those. So what that tells me is that they have they have needs for these different types of roles that human beings play. And to put it bluntly, they classify us and look at us much in the same way that we look at dogs, at the canine species. That are dogs as smart as us? No, not even close. right? We're like 5 times smarter than a dog. But dogs are still very useful to us. We still like them. We still will seek out different breeds of canine for their beneficial traits. We have dogs who are just guard dogs, that's what they were bred for. That is their breed. That is what they do. It is what they are made for. And that is something that they excel at. Now, this is the exact same way that they look at human beings. Some of us are breeds that are desirable for whatever their uses or purposes are, and some of us are not. And it seems like they determine this at a very early age, that they tend to abduct children, and they will abduct them. They I was abducted and returned. I had the feeling that I had passed some sort of test that I wasn't, I don't remember. Um, but I remember when I was standing in the backyard, which you'll read about in Beneath the Haunted Sky, they had set my favorite toy, which was a little saucer, a little UFO toy. And you could put a little guy in there and roll him around. And that was setting by my foot. And it was almost as if it was like being accepted into some sort of program that I had passed, that I had excelled at something, and that I was being accepted by them. Um, I've heard experiences from others who were abducted as children and they were never taken again. And one of them jokingly said that they were a dud. And I thought, how fortunate for you that you weren't of use to them, so now they won't bother you. Um, but I've learned a lot in my experiences dealing with this species. Um, and I try to share as much of that as I possibly can with you in Beneath the Haunted Sky. It's a very personal look into this part of my life, which has been a significant part of my life for the last 20 years. Um, but we must come to terms with the fact that we are embarrassingly lower on the food chain than we believed that we were, that we are not the pinnacle of creation that we would like to think that we are. We are babies. We are babies. And how could we not be? You know, how could we not be the lowest technological society possible when we have been around almost no time? Almost no time at all. I mean, well, human beings, you know, really only come about in the last 250,000 years. And really, we've only had industry, mechanical industry, in about the last 200 years. And we've really only had significant technology in about the last 50 or 60 years. So we are nothing in the cosmological scale of technology and in science. Not that we wouldn't like to be, um, but you see what we do with what little bit of science we have now. What do? We go to wars and we blow people up and we kill each other, and we are a savage and cannibalistic species. So it kind of is better that we don't have those things, but we also are at the mercy of these species who are technologically more advanced. Um, and we must protect ourselves through the dissemination of information. Well, this is what we must do. We must inform ourselves of what it is that we need to know. In other words, while I can tell you that you cannot prevent, uh, maybe 100% prevent an alien abduction, you can read my book, and it becomes pretty clear the things that you can do to avoid it or at least severely reduce your chances of that happening to you. Personally, I've been taken, I guess I would say, hundreds of times over the past 40 years. And I have learned that there are certain things I can do, which maybe not prevent it 100%, but I can discourage it greatly. I can really lower the odds of that happening to me because I have learned how to discern their patterns. I learned the way that they do things, and then I do things in opposition to those patterns, and it seems to work. And that's some of the things I talk about in Beneath the Haunted Sky. As I talk about, here's what you do if you think you're being abducted and you don't want to be. Well, here's what I do, and it seems to work, and how to recover from the abduction hangover, which is what I call it, which is how you feel the next day when they return you. It's a you know it, believe me, you know it. Um, and so I have some coping mechanisms that I use that aren't all, this. Um, there are other things you can do, healthy, positive things, and we, I discuss that and share those things. But also, I felt that I needed to, and the reason that I felt like I needed to is because there are no resources for us. There are no resources for abduction trauma survivors. You see, I I can't go and talk to someone about what has transpired because I will be seen as crazy. They will give me, I'll be giving myself an all day hug in a rubber room. They're, they're not interested in hearing it because it's so far out of their realm of experience that they genuinely don't have the capacity to accept what you're saying as being the truth. And it's just like everything else. If we want someone to believe us, we must keep telling the truth over and over and over and over again. And we must never stop. It doesn't matter that people may not want to hear these things, they need to. We're beyond want. I'm beyond caring if I offend people. I don't care if I offend people. It's not a crime to offend someone. And sometimes the best way to wake people up is by shaking them. Yeah, I hate to say that, but sometimes it's true. And this book is a genuine wake up call. It is grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you and saying, look at this. This is not going away. This evidence exists. And I'm not the only one. This is not just for me, but for all those who have silently suffered uh, through these events and these experiences and have been treated as, well, they're treated like they're crazy, you know? And, and these scientists, which I name in the book, I name names. I don't care. I just say it like it is. And I'm telling you, the Michio Kakus and the Neil deGrasse Tysons and the Michael Shermers can kiss my alien abducted ass. These folks are the ones who are doing you a disservice by trying to give you all of these intellectual backflips into plausible deniability. It is what they're doing. What they're doing is a crime. It really is. To mislead people with their poor understanding of science and what is possible. And also, how about just the truth when you hear it? How about that? You see, this book is important on many levels, but it should be important on the human level. You see, uh, one could almost argue that they are these pseudoscientists are doing the cover up work for this species. Uh, I don't think that this species is trying to cover. They're trying to just keep their profile low, but in the end, they know no one can really touch them. Yeah, that they are going to do what they're going to do. Their purpose is to not alarm anyone. See, to keep you asleep, to keep you, to block out your memory, to, uh, you know, and then they're so quiet about it that when you say something to other people, they go, "What? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see anything. I didn't notice anything. I don't know what you're talking about." You and see, in our psychology, the odd one out is considered flawed instead of exceptional. Yeah. And you see, that's where I come in, because these experiences are exceptional, and the evidence that I present, and beneath the haunted sky, the evidence for alien abduction is exceptional. I went through and chose the best pictures. I have shown you the best artifacts that I have. I have shown you the physical marks associated with alien abduction. I tell you their pattern. I show you what they look like. I have explained my interactions with them. I have shared with you that I have an implant right behind my ear right here. It used to be here. I used to have one right here on the inside of my lip, right there. And I was constantly doing that with it, messing with it. Oh, it drove me crazy. And after I had moved from Ohio to Pennsylvania, I was sleeping on a friend of mine's couch while I was waiting for my house uh, to finalize. And I woke up one day, it was gone. Woke up and I was like, oh, hey, look at that. What do you know? They must. I was like, oh, well, maybe they got tired of me, and they didn't want to. They didn't need to keep track of me anymore. But that wasn't exactly true. They just took it from here and moved it here, which is harder to get to, because I was seriously contemplating removing it myself, just cutting myself open and ripping it out, because that's how crazy it was driving me. And so they moved it to a place that it's very hard to see and get to, and I'm a lot less likely to do that. However, I still would like to have it removed once I find the right person to do that. But we have to be aware, and this is where we get our power back. Are they more technologically advanced? Of course they are, by an order of magnitude that is ridiculous. Okay, it's like watching magic. We don't, it's so technological that half the time we're seeing them, we don't even know what we're looking at. We'll see crap that are like melting in the sky and raining and then moving and then they teleport, and we don't even know what's going on. Where it's going, what is that? And you can imagine how people 500 years ago, looking up in the sky, would look at that and say, oh, that must be God, or it's the gods, or it's, some supernatural force. When I have news for you, and this is one of the things I talk about, is there is no paranormal. There's just normal things we don't understand. There is no supernatural. There are simply natural things that we have not been smart enough to catch on to yet. There is not anything in the entire universe that I have experienced so far that cannot be explained scientifically, even if we don't know how. Two, people say that they've died and gone into the afterlife. That doesn't make it supernatural. Perhaps that is simply the natural part of moving on that the rest of us are just have yet to experience. You see, but to us it's spooky, but to someone who's done it, it's Tuesday. Like, it's old news. When people think that what I'm talking about, being abducted by aliens, some paranormal experience, no, no, no. This is just a species that's from somewhere else that is so far advanced scientifically that they can pretty much just infiltrate this planet, do what they want, and leave, and nobody can stop them. In fact, they barely comprehend that something's even being done in the first place. And this is where we take our power back. We take our power back by getting this information, and instead of denying it, accepting it and disseminating it to others, becoming more widely aware of this phenomenon will bring attention to it. And when we bring attention to it, well, now we can do something together, because we can do things that will discourage behavior that we don't want from an outside species. We cannot stop them technologically. This is why the military doesn't want to talk to you about UFOs. Why do they want to talk to you about something they can't do anything about and say, yep, they sure exist, and nope, we can't do a goddamn thing about it? Why would they want to do that and scare everybody? But I saw it firsthand. I witnessed firsthand exactly how helpless they are when it comes to trying to engage. Sorry, it's Saturday here, and I live in a very interesting neighborhood. But why would they want to get on and say, hey, everybody who pays taxes for the defense of this country, just so hey, if it's the Russians, we got them. The Chinese, you bet. Anybody else, Middle East, yeah, we could take care of them. These guys show up, we got nothing. It's why would they do that? And make everybody panic and make us feel helpless? But they're approaching it the wrong way. They're approaching it the wrong way. Fall on that sword. Show that vulnerability, because we already know, military, government, FBI, CIA, if you're listening, we already know that you guys are as helpless as babies around these things. We know that you couldn't issue them a speeding ticket. You have no power because you don't have the necessary technology to enforce any boundaries. Think about that. Um, we want to have boundaries. Yes, boundaries are good. But what boundaries can we possibly have with a species that is so more technologically superior than us that we have no way of enforcing it? I personally witnessed one of these UFOs make fools, just fools, out of our best pilots in F-16s. This thing just ran circles around it. These guys are trying their best. They're being heroes, and they're putting their lives on the line. Our best pilots in our best planes, they look like children in a soapbox derby next to a Corvette. There was nothing that these pilots could do. So what we need to do, instead of trying to rely on military technology, which isn't going to work, we're not going to come up with any secret weapon. There's no magic ray gun. This isn't this isn't a movie. This is real life. So what we can do is we spread awareness, and we let people know, hey, if you see one of these, you leave the area, you get out of there. Don't stand there, don't stand under it, report it to us. Because what I did notice that the pilots at Wright Pat Air Force did was they were able to chase this thing out of an air traffic lane, their air traffic lane for the Air Force base. They were able to chase it out of the way. But that was it. After that, it was just this thing making a fool out of them. I mean, it wasn't even close. It was like watching a science fiction movie in real life with this thing. But we can spread awareness, and we can possibly save lives and save suffering and save abductions if we tell people what it is they can do to discourage, maybe not completely prevent, but you can knock the odds down in your favor with the application of some simple principles, which I outline in Beneath the Haunted Sky. I hope that when you watch this, you go down, you click the link that is in the description, you go right there and sign up. Get that pre-order in 12 days. So 13 days. Less than 2 weeks. Check it out. In less than 2 weeks, the book drops. And I'm going to be doing other videos before then and everything, but I wanted to do this live stream and just come on and celebrate and say, hey, we did it. Let's have a drink together. You know, even if you watch this late, it's all right. You have a drink with me anyway, no matter what time it is. All right. Cilantro. Good stuff. Um, I want to thank my patrons um, who have helped keep me going um, while I was getting this book done. I want to thank Chris Engel. Hi, Chrissy. I want to thank Wayne, the main brain Peterson, Mr. Brimstone himself. And I'd like to thank Mr. Paul Bellet. Um, these, if you'd like to join the Patreon, and I got to tell you, you do, whether you think you do or not, trust me, you do, because we have a ball over there. I don't know anybody who's having more fun in any Patreon than me and my folks. We talk every day. We talk every day. We are a strong little army over there, and I'd love to see you join. Now, we talk a lot about the Coral Castle. We have some of our niche subjects that are very popular, but we're going to be expanding that to talking about, and all my folks are open on this too. This isn't like you'll get over there and feel unwelcome because we're talking about the perpetual motion holder. We're talking about some boring engineering science, but I will be talking a lot and making a lot of posts about this subject, about UFOs, about UAPs, and about the alien abduction phenomenon, because this is the new cutting edge. This is the new frontier. Hi, Jody. Hi. Nice to see you. Yes, my book is available in Canada. Um, Now there may be uh you now I'm sorry, I have to think for a second because I know it's available, but wonder I'm thinking perhaps that it may not be available in print form because I know that in the US and the UK is definitely available in paperback. In Canada, and I'll go back and check on this and I'll make a post later. But because of the color format, because I put in a ton of really good color photographs of UFOs and other things. Um, I guess it's some places it won't be available. I know Australia and Japan specifically are two that I remember um, that that's not available in print form, but you can still get it in Kindle. Um, and uh, the the book itself, the paperback, is like 266 pages. Um, so I really go off on on certain subjects. In fact, Jay, I'm checking right now for you. Okay, I just want to see uh, paperback. How do I check that out? Copies, pricing. Sorry, I'm checking for you. Ah, I'm on the page. Hold on. Ah, it isn't offered. Only the Kindle is offered in your marketplace. The only two places, the only two places that you can buy the actual paperback version with the physical pictures in it is from Amazon, regular Amazon in the US, and Amazon UK. Um, Everywhere up, but the Kindle version is available everywhere. Okay. So I still think that even though that it's only available in the Kindle, I checked out when I did the formatting and everything for it, which is that's what I'm celebrating getting through. By the way, were you the one who just wrote a new book, Jody? Was it you? I want to say that it was something about the spirit dragon. Am I getting that wrong? I don't know. I hope not. I hope if I got that wrong, please don't be mad at me. Um, yeah. So if you can go right now, if you go click the link in the description right now, this live stream, you can go actually pre-order the Kindle version, and you'll get it on December 1st when both formats of the book drop. Yeah, good memory. Yeah, I hear that sometimes. It was something something and the spirit dragon. It had a girl, like a pretty little girl, and a little dragon looking at her. And I remember thinking that the art on that was super charming. And is how is your book available on Amazon? Tell me about yours. And we'll celebrate both of our books together. Why not? While I am in fierce need of libation. Mm. Ah, it feels good to be done though. That's what I spent the last few days doing was writing the book is the easiest part of writing a book. The editing, the formatting, the pricing, it's everything. Um, I tried, but I couldn't find it on that Canada market. Thanks so much. Yes, it's available. Sorry, I got to go in a minute for an appointment, but congrats on your book. Oh, well, hey, that's all right. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello to me. It's always nice to see you. And yeah, yeah, it's definitely available in Kindle for everybody for pre-order, but the paperback, unfortunately, is only available in the United States and the UK. So I hope there are some real nice people who are in the United States and the UK uh, who are willing to buy a couple of copies and maybe send them to their friends if they can't get it, because it really is an important book. And wouldn't you know that this book has some of the most important photographic information that you could possibly ever find in a book about abduction, and it just happens to not be available in almost any place. Isn't that the way it goes? And congrats on your book as well, because I'm going to go back and look at that, and I'm going to get the title right, and I will I'll talk about that later. But thank you so much for taking the time to stop in and congratulate me on having my book done. You know what it's like, huh? You know what it's like to get one of these done, and it's a cool feeling. And hey, have fun at your appointment. I have an appointment with Dr. Ink. Dr. Ink. Drink. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes, you do know what it's like. And congratulations to you too, Jody, because I thought your book is way cuter than mine. All right. It's way cuter. Um, but yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Hey, actually, I'm trying to get back on Jeff Mara's podcast. So let him know that you want to have me on to talk about the book. And if you do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you. And I'll see you around, Jody. Thank you. Um, yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Bye bye. Um, I love when cool people stop in, just nice people, or just like, hey, I'm rooting for you and you're awesome. I love that. We need more of that in the world for everybody. We all need to celebrate what we're doing for the world, you know? And uh, a children's book is a fantastic thing, And I am going to check that book out because I like children's books too. I like all books. But we all need to celebrate what we're doing right now. We are in a different energy. We're in a different time right now. And there are people who were formerly looked over, like me. Yeah, been looked over for a long time, and all of a sudden, wouldn't you know, hey, this guy, all of a sudden, I go from being nobody, pretty much, to being Graham Hancock's author of the month, not once but twice. I go from being nobody to being on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, not once, not twice, but three times. I go from that to being nobody to being on the History Channel, not once but twice. Doing these great shows like Jeff Mara, who reached out to me and was like, "Hey, want to be on the show? Somebody said to talk to you and have you on the show." And I'm like, that's great. And we talked about the Coral Castle, which was a hoot. It was a blast. But this is the subject that I'm really interested in talking about these days, because I think it's much more important. This information affects a lot more people. The Coral Castle, what I've discovered, there are people other than me working on that over in my Patreon. Uh, and they're, you know, going to be carrying the torch. I can tell you that my legacy in that regard will be safe. The UFO abduction phenomenon, the alien abduction phenomenon, is what needs to be addressed. The existence of extraterrestrials needs to be addressed. This isn't fantasy, this is reality. And what other people have been living in is the delusion. While folks like myself and others who know about this phenomenon are the only ones really, really living in reality. And it's time that we all woke up together. And I'm willing to wake you up nicely if you're willing to wake up. But the people who are willing to stay asleep at any cost, at the cost of denial of science, at the cost of denial of just simple human truth, well, those people will be the enemy. And I have no mercy for my enemies in the science world, as many of you know. But that's also how I got a name for myself, because I simply refuse to allow them to do their gaslighting, their smoke screens, their pseudo skepticism. I simply don't tolerate it. I cut through it like a sword. And I always will. And this book does that in grand fashion, not just with the philosophy, not just with my own experiences, but with evidence, real evidence that you can look at, and you cannot see it any other way. There is no other way to see absolute evidence. You just cannot. And when you see what I was able to do with the evidence, I think you'll be even more impressed. I hope that the people who were in the United States and in the UK, I hope that you do get the paperback version. I went to some trouble. I went to some trouble, my friends, to give you the most beautiful the most beautiful book of evidence that you've ever seen. And it involves a lot of big, full color photographs of trace effects, of artifacts, of countless crafts. That these aren't blurry orbs in the sky. These are real up close, personal. You can see the details. You can clearly see that they aren't anything except what I say they are, which are UFOs, UAPs, alien crafts. Let's just be honest. But we did it, guys. That there's no taking it back. There's no there's no unpublishing this book. It's done now. The evidence is out. The cat is out of the bag, my friends. And it's tearing off screaming into the night. And this is the stuff that people did not want me to say. And I can tell you there are going to be people who are going to be mad at me. And there'll probably be some consequences for it. Yeah. And I accept those consequences. There's no way that you can put out this much truth and nothing going to happen to you. You see, I've already had people who have tried to ruin my life over this particular thing, over the fact that I am just a chronic truth teller, as my autism forces me to be uncomfortably honest most of the time. Um, and they have attempted to shut me down. That's true. Um, I won't go into how because it doesn't matter right now because they didn't stop me. And as I was telling a friend of mine last night, they fucked up. They should have killed me. They should have killed me because the fact that they didn't just made me mad. It just made me more determined. And now, well, look what you've gone and done now. Now you got me motivated. Yeah, now I want to prove a point. Yeah. And that's exactly what I have done with Beneath the Haunted Sky. The evidence for alien abduction, as I have proved my point. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I am so excited. You know how hard it's going to be for me to wait the next 13 days until the book drops? But I wanted to do it at a time when we've got, Thanksgiving out of the way, couple days after Black Friday. I want you guys when you buy this book and you sign up, I want this to be $10 that you are not gonna regret. You're not gonna miss. And oh, when it shows up, oh my goodness. You are going to know where that money went. You are not going to complain about the $10 Kindle price that I am charging for the 266 pages that you're going to receive. Um, I give you so much for your money that I spoil you. I spoil you. But that's because the information and the dissemination of it is worth more to me than the money. Um, don't get me wrong, money's nice. I like money. Money helps. I've learned that lately that uh, money's become important in my life, um, but not at the expense of the truth. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Um, did I mention there our heat's out? I don't know why. We're waiting to hear back on that, but it's about I don't know. It's going to get down to about 20, 27 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. So I'm just loading up on the antifreeze. uh, I'm not cold or anything. Like it's not cold in the house. I kind of we have an oven, so I'll turn the oven on and open it up and do that. We have a one of those fancy digital fireplaces that actually has a space heater built into it. So we've been using that, and between the two things, we're comfy, you know, and also a little bit of the old fire water there. It helps out keeping you warm, and good company, you know. People like Jody, Amanda, folks who stop in and say hello, give an encouraging word. Um, this is my time. I feel it. It's my time and it feels great. It's been a long time coming. And this book is just an enormous victory. Um, oh, this just in. This just in. Oh, Jeff Mara from the Jeff Mara podcast. One of my good buds now. True professional. If you don't know who the Jeff Mara podcast is, you better ask somebody because this guy's out there killing it. And I just got a date confirmation that I'm going to be doing. Now it won't be released that day, but we're going to be doing a podcast on December 1st, the day the book drops. That's amazing. This will come out probably another day or two afterwards if I understand how his editing and scheduling works. But boom, this just in live while we were talking, just got the notification. We locked down the date of December 1st, the day of the book drop. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is the day of the book drop. but you can get it now. You can follow the link below and you can hit that pre-order button and it will arrive on December 1st like magic. Now, it is a large file and it's completely worth it. And you are getting, nobody's going to be complaining about the size of this book because I have put a lot into it. The first 60 pages or so are just me just telling science up one side and down the other. And it's important. It's not just therapeutic for me, but it's also, this leads to, this is the problem. This is why we have the problems in the UFO field. This is why people aren't, being well informed. Is because we have science that doesn't work. Our science is broken, and I show how it's broken in so many ways, and that all ties back in to our perception of the highest technology that we have ever experienced and why we are failing to understand it for what it is. Yeah. Well, listen, I've been going on here for about an hour or so. I've had a few of you trickle in and out. I've had some really cute people come in and give me props and congratulations. Um, and I'm just so happy today. I really am. And I wanted to celebrate, and I just didn't want to sit here by myself. I wanted to sit here by myself in front of a camera. But no, I wanted to have a drink with you. So no matter when you watch this, raise a glass. Slanja. Oh, well earned. Well earned. And just so you know, my Patreons knew about this before anybody did, because that's how I treat them. These guys are the best. Chris Engel, Wayne Peterson, Paul Bellett. These are my patrons right now. And you can be one too. If you follow the link that I have in the description, you can go follow my author page. That would be awesome of you. If you sign up, get the pre-order in, early by using the link below. And consider joining the Patreon. We're having a blast over there, and I spoil them. You would not believe all the stuff that they get to see and have and know about before anybody else does. We communicate on a daily basis. They are part of we are a family, and I want you to be a part of that family too. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and call her a night. I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope that you celebrate a little bit for me and with me over the release, the impending release, and the pre-order party for Beneath the Haunted Sky, the evidence for alien abduction. This could be the most important UFO book written in this generation. And I say that very humbly. It's only because I've experienced it firsthand that I have a penchant for observation, for collecting data, for compiling it, for establishing patterns, and for telling the truth. And when you put all that together, you get 266 pages of kicking somebody's ass. That's what you get. And so I guess I'll be on the Jeff Mara podcast back on December 1st when the book drops. I'll be making more videos as time goes on, as we lead up to December 1st and the official drop of the paperback and the Kindle. And we'll be having more discussions. And feel free to post questions if you'd like in the comments, things you'd like me to discuss, talk about. Feel free to join me in future chats. And guys, I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I love you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I'm R.L. Poole.